Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Maxi here once again, and I am back for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Luigi's Mansion 2, aka Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for those of you who lived in North America, for the Nintendo 3DS/Nintendo Switch as the version we are currently playing on. So, anyway, last time we've essentially did manage to tackle through mission 8-5, and that's what appears to be a sticky situation. But not only we did somehow capture the second boo in the game so far, and also yet again we somehow got ourselves our glorious 3-star ranking. In addition to that, we also did manage to able to claim ourselves the final 3 gems in Gloomy Manor. In addition to that, we also did manage to able to get rid of every single spiderwebs during that specific mission. So all in all though, everything else will be come to expect. So today, for this video, is about the fact that if you couldn't tell already, that I'm going to be skipping over the previous cutscenes, as you can tell, because as you can tell, we need to go back onto the previous 3 missions right here, specifically Poltergust 5000, alongside with the forms of Gear Up, and of course Quiet Place, because as far as I'm aware, now we've actually got ourselves the Dark Lights device, so now we can able to actually try to find the remaining 3 boos in Journey Forms within Gloomy Manor. And as far as I'm aware, about the fact that we remember with the forms of certain rooms that we've technically already experienced from the first time, specifically in the garage, alongside with the forms of the other 2 rooms. Well, I'm sure about the fact that I'm trying to do a lot of editing stuff to do. Well, you pretty much already know about the fact that how these missions actually plays out to be, because obviously though we've already experienced them since whenever we first time we played the, the entire game so far, specifically on the Switch version most likely. And relatively speaking, I was about the fact that the only major difference is this time around though is that you can now able to actually have the ability to able to run, and on top of that we can now able to actually use the Poltergust 5000 way earlier for the likes of the first mission in the game. So, and of course there's no EGAT interruption or anything else like this. So either way, so I believe fundamentally speaking I was about the fact that the boo location for let's just say in Poltergust 5000, for instance, the first mission in the game is actually going to be located in the garage. So because of that though, mind you about the fact that, well, I was expected to try to able to interact with that particular vehicle again. So just to ensure we can able to actually see the Poltergust 5000 will be, well, obtained. But either way though, I just want to get this out of the way, just in case no matter what though, we can able to actually just to go ahead and get into the actual main emphasis on journey forms of the actual entire exploration. That's of course finding certain boos for 3 missions specifically. Now I think this might actually be the only time we can able to actually backtrack to the previous missions, so just to ensure for the fact that we can able to actually try to find the remaining boos, because if you do manage to able to capture every single boos, at least in one of those mansions anyway, mind you, currently at the moment right now, we're about to be trying to find a grand total of 5 boos in Gloomy Manor. Well, mind you, we've already did somehow found 2 so far, so naturally we've only got 3 boos left. And what happens if you do manage to able to capture every single boos, at least depending on about the fact that what mansion you go into. Like for instance, we did somehow capture the 3rd boo right here in Poltergust 5000, so pretty swell I might say. Alright, so if you couldn't tell already, like I said before, I have to do a lot of edits to do, especially concerning for the fact that you already know how these missions actually plays out to be, so there's no point able to actually see the exactly same missions again, except the noticeable differences I'm mostly able to pointing out, is that I will try my best to able to actually get myself the improved ranking on Gear Up mission, but that's just mainly because at this point in time, as you can see, that I've now got myself 2-star ranking on Poltergust 5000, but who knows, because obviously though, if you couldn't tell, we still technically trying to able to keep ourselves the 3-star ranking, because as far as I'm aware, that you probably get the idea of how that's gonna turn out. So anyway, relatively speaking, I was about the fact that, well, today's date, of course, is the 23rd of August today, in some cases in 2024 today. I mean, relatively speaking, I was about the fact that I'm pretty concerned about the fact that we've only just got about, I would say, 9 days to go until we're moving on to the next month, which appears to be September. So because of that, though, yeah, there's nothing else I can really able to actually say about this, I guess. And mind you, as you can tell, I did manage to actually decide to collect quite a little amount of money, because obviously that was about the fact that, well, we've already got ourselves our glorious 3-star ranking, so now we're going to be moving on to Europe. So either way, now I'm sure enough that was about the fact that it's also not going to be too far from here, I don't think. Although, as soon as we get to the forms within the third mission, which appears to be Quiet Please, basically though, that's just essentially what I'm going to try to do a lot of, like, jump cuts here and there, so just to ensure for the fact that we can actually try to show you guys of where the boo locations are. So anyway, so let's go into the forms within Gear Up mission, and onto the forms of this room right here, and to actually try to find this particular furniture right there, and trying to obtain every single spirit orbs, and naturally you can now to try to find the next boo. And of course, much like the forms of how it does on the first Luigi's Mansion game, obviously though, any other boos does have their different names. So, and as far as I'm aware, eventually at some point, as you can see, that every once in a while though, is that if you don't try to actually find a boo in time, obviously though, one of those boos will try to summon those specific spirit orbs that you definitely need to avoid, or even essentially try to suck them up as quickly as you can, so just in case you don't want to get hit so many times. So anyway, at least we did somehow capture the 4th boo right now, so I'll meet you guys back whenever we did somehow complete Gear Up mission. Okay, so it looks like we made our way to the endway portion of Gear Up mission, and exponentially speaking, that was about the fact that I did somehow indeed not only trying to obtain some more treasures off screen, in addition to that, that was about the fact that hopefully though my results would be a lot better than in forms of how it does on my first attempt of this mission. So because of that, all in all, we actually did that pretty swell, especially concerning for the fact that not only because of time, but also the treasure amount has actually increased significantly. So as you can see, we've now got ourselves our new record with the 3-star ranking. So yeah, I'm very happy about that, especially concerning for the fact that maybe it's possible for me to actually try to fully 100% everything on Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, specifically for the sake of the forms of Luigi's Mansion 2 off screen. So just in case, I can to try to discuss upon what really happens if you do manage to completely done everything for the likes of Luigi's Mansion 2 in general, for the likes of not only for the 3DS, but also on the Nintendo Switch as well, for the HD version. So yeah, that's a lot of money that we somehow got, and we were so close to get ourselves our next upgrade. So hopefully by that time, once we go back on to Quiet Please mission, then obviously though we can to get ourselves the next boo, or should I say the final boo we need to capture for the likes of in Gloomy Manor. So I suppose I don't think about the fact that I was originally trying to do a bit of a jump cut to actually make our way to that particular destination of where that specific boo location was. Well, I don't necessarily try to need to, especially concerning for the fact that, well, it seems kind of weird about the fact that we've never get a chance to see one of those alternate cutscenes if you do manage to enter in Gloomy Manor for multiple times. Because I know for a fact that there was that particular scene where basically though, if you try to jump into the actual mission itself, obviously though, there's another cutscene where basically though, Luigi did somehow fell for his back, and as a result though, yeah, unfortunately though, we've never come across into that scene. So it happens on random times, at least as far as I'm assuming so anyway, which, as a result, there's nothing else I can really say about this, I guess. So anyway, as far as I'm aware, we can now to actually use the Dark Lights device on these specific nights right there, because as a result, normally we couldn't do that from before, so now we can, to actually try to reveal something, like a bunch of notes. So yeah, that's actually pretty swell, especially, again, about the fact that if I was trying to discover certain secrets and what have you, obviously though, I can to try to grind as many of those money as I could, so just to ensure for the fact that, well, obviously trying to collect money is more important when it comes to trying to upgrade your, not only the Poltergust 5000, but as well as from that, with the Dark Lights device as well. So either way, So, as far as I'm aware, it's about the fact that the next boo is going to be located, and that's going to be somewhere in the studio itself. So, either way though, even though it's kind of unfortunate about the fact that I did lose 20 HP so far, so, or health, I should say. So, either way, let's go into the studio right there. Now, you've noticed there might be something's a little bit missing about this particular room, and that's what appears to be the canvas. So, either way, let's lock this thing up and try to able to actually scan the canvas right here to not only trying to get some more spirit orbs to suck up with, but also Boo shows up. So, either way though, so yeah, nothing else I can really say about it, apart from the fact that I was originally trying to mention about the forms of what's been happening recently. Well, as a result, I'm only going to be able to try to discuss upon quite a few things here and there, but we'll save that particular topic as soon as we're able to actually unlock one of the last missions in Journey Forms within Gloomy Manor. So there we go, we've got all the boos in Gloomy Manor, so I'll meet you guys back whenever we do manage to finish up everything for Quiet Please mission, so... Anyway, we've already taken care of the forms of the Poltergeist for the second time so far. Naturally speaking though, despite the fact that we have to take care of 3 more of those Poltergeist mini-boss, well, usually relatively speaking though, it's just about the fact that sometimes trying to deal with certain sub-bosses might be felt a bit tricky sometimes, and thankfully though, we did manage to beat this mission in the quickest amount of time. Although, mind you about the fact that when it comes to other records, didn't exactly improved, well, that's okay though, because obviously though, time really does matter to me though, especially concerning for the fact that obviously though, you can now skip certain cinematic cutscenes or anything else like that, because technically we've already seen these, since whenever we somehow first time experiencing certain missions like this, so... Anyways though, so we'll just go ahead and put the boo in one of those EGAT's vaults. So either way, so far we've actually captured 5 boos so far. So yeah, this is only just the beginning as far as this is concerned. And of course, we did somehow get ourselves the next upgrade, and that's what appears to be the Poltergeist upgrade has been unlocked. So we've now reached to level 3 of that particular gauge. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool, especially concerning for the fact that I'm pretty sure that we can easily guarantee to able to fully level up ourselves immediately as soon as we're able to actually continue proceedings to the forms of this whole entire game. So either way, so before we get into the forms of the first true boss in the game, we need to check out the forms of EGAT's vault. So not only we can able to actually see specific ghosts that we somehow captured so far, but also it tells you how many gold you somehow got, to be more specifically how much money you've gathered, and on top of that there's also the gem collection and also upgrades, and even Boo contain stir, I think is what it says anyway. So let's check out the forms of this gem collection here, because remember what I said before about the fact that if you do somehow manage to able to collect all these gems, depending on what mansion you go into, like for instance we've gathered all 13 of those gems in one of the mansions in Gloomy Manor, basically this will actually shows up, which actually shows the actual true sculpture of Luigi with Poltergeist 5000 in his glorious gem form. And you can also try to zoom in and zoom out, and you can even decide able to rotate with the actual camera, with the actual control stick and stuff like that. So yeah, that's actually kind of a cool reward you get if you manage to able to obtain every single gems, that is, depending on what mansion you go into. So either way, so yeah, that's as far as we can able to show for this point. Although I was originally trying to able to check out the forms of the ghost container, in addition to the forms of that Boo vault thing. But we'll try to save that up once we finish up the entire game first. So either way, so let's get into the forms of the next mission right here, and that's what appears to be confronts the source. So this means, if you couldn't tell already, that it shows right here there is actually a skull, meaning that we might come across into the first proper boss fight. So as a result, similar to the forms of how it does it in Luigi's Mansion 1, that we've already did somehow managed able to taking care of the forms of some bosses, but there is that one particular true main boss, depending on the forms of what area you go into. Like for instance, in Area 1 in Luigi's Mansion 1, that's the first boss, or the first true main boss of that game, was actually by the forms of Chun-Li, the baby ghost. And meanwhile for Area 2 is Bogmare, and Area 3 is Boo losses, and of course Area 4 is obviously not only King Boo, but also Bowser. Well, technically it's King Boo to be more specifically, just because obviously though King Boo is controlling Bowser's body, which actually represents Bowser's dead body or something like that, or even a robot for that matter. Well, mind you about the fact that it has been about 2 days ago since I actually have last played this game for sure, just because you know about the fact that recently though, Ray the Flying Squirrel, that he somehow continues his progressioning for the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake just before, you know, Echoes of Wisdom is almost approaching to its release. So, oh geez, that particular key looks a lot more bigger than I was expecting. So, as a result, much like the forms of how it does it on, well, let's just say in the first Luigi's Mansion game, obviously though we'll come across into special keys that you can able to actually access to certain areas that you could not explore from before. So relatively speaking, that was about the fact that we can now able to actually go into, let's just say, something tells me about the fact that we can now able to actually interact with the actual elevator, which as a result, that could be a good thing, especially concerning for the fact that we are basically almost done everything for the rest of Gloomy Manor, so... And since this mission is obviously going to be the main boss mission, this means about the fact that we can't explore any other rooms from now on, because obviously that is about the fact that I'm pretty sure about the fact that the elevator is the only way to go for this point. So either way, but before we get into the elevator, I just want to make sure I need to double check on something, in case if there are certain coins we can able to be collecting, so let's hop into the elevator.
I do it. Uh-oh. Hello?
By the way, did you pay attention to the forms of that particular background music you hear if you go into the elevator for the first time? Believe it or not, that particular theme was actually heavily borrowed from Mario Strikers Charge if you managed to pause the game. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool, especially concerning for the fact that this game originally was developed by Next Level Games, specifically on the 3DS version, whilst compared to the Switch version, for some reason it gets like a different developer for some reason. Holy macaroni, that particular spider is huge, especially concerning for the fact that, well, it's not necessarily about the fact that we're not going to be trying to fight against with this spider creature right there. It's more specifically like a boss puzzle segment. So basically though, all we have to do in this part right here is that we need to able to actually suck up that particular spider web right there, and able to actually drag it over towards that particular knight with the actual flame things itself. Basically though, that's essentially how you can deal with the actual specific spider, as you can tell. But here's the catch though, is about the fact that the ones who is actually going to be controlling the actual spider, as you can tell, that's what appears to be one of those postures right there, which to me more specifically, it does have its name by the way, which appears to be Gorgy Possessor, I think it's what it says anyway. So because of that though, yeah, basically though is about the fact that in order to able to deal with the amount of damage, well, it's not necessary it doesn't show us the number, but to be more specifically, it did show us the infinite symbol. So this means about the fact that that's how the gauge system comes into play. So basically though, if you're trying to able to press the A button at the right time, once you do manage to able to go through the actual specific line of that specific gauge, and naturally you can able to actually try to take care of the next phase. So obviously though is about the fact that we're now on phase 2 of this particular boss puzzle right here. Basically though is about the fact that we got to do the same thing as before, except now about the fact that we do need able to actually utilize with that particular chandelier with that particular attached spider web ball thingy right there. And as a result, no matter what though, is about the fact that I'm pretty sure that we need to actually get one of those flames lit up for another one of those nights we need to utilize with. So either way, sometimes it might take a bit while, especially concerning for the fact that I keep on thinking about the forms within the first game specifically when it comes to the forms of certain puzzles or anything else like that. So either way, or specifically with certain bosses. So anyway, oh, that's actually a nice little earlier stunt right there. And now we're moving on to the third and probably the final phase of the fight. So basically that was about the fact that now this spider is actually going to get a lot more further away back. And obviously though, we need to able to hook into this wall right here. So just in case we don't want to get hit by that particular, you know, charged up attack. So because of that though, yeah, relatively speaking, it's a pretty simple and easy boss fight if you pretty much know exactly what to do. I mean, relatively speaking, it's about the fact that I will admit though right away is that I really do wish if they do have like unique poltergeist ghosts as the actual specific boss fight, but usually every single time whenever we go into a later boss fight in the game, well, suffice to say is about the fact that the Processor Ghost is the only boss type you able to actually come across into, specifically with all his main bosses with different stimulations. So because obviously though is about the fact that we have to take care of the actual spider, of course, because you know that's how about the fact that we do realize about the fact that we did somehow clear out every single spider webs in Journey Involves a bit sticky situation mission. So either way, that's what I can really think about that, I guess. So anyways though, so now we've actually done with that, and yes, it's probably best if we're able to actually use the straw bulb technique right at the spider right here, so just in case you don't able to actually get hit by him. So as a result, no matter what though, it's a pretty simple boss, despite the fact that I somehow got hit quite a few times. So unfortunately though, I don't think it's possible for me to able to guarantee to get myself my best ranking so far, usually for the 3-star ranking, but that's okay though, because I can simply just try to do that on my spare own time. And naturally speaking of, that is our first boss, or the first main boss, done and finished. So either way, let's get our next Dark Moon piece.
Oh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh. 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 Huh?
And relatively speaking, that was about the fact that when it comes to forms we're trying to deal with the actual main bosses, obviously though is about the fact that we're able to actually see some cutscenes if you do manage to able to find out about the fact that the actual spider has gone back to normal, alongside with the forms of a whole group of those spiders did somehow manage to able to go alongside with the ginormous spider. So yeah, that's actually pretty something, I suppose. So either way, now we've actually taken care of the forms of the first, let's just say the forms of Processor Ghost. So that means about the fact that, well, it looks like that Gloomy Manor is basically done. And now we can able to actually proceed into the next mansion if we decide to do that.
Oh, I did it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ah! Oh. Phew.
And that particular spider just comes out of nowhere, which I was not expecting that. But either way, and like I said before, I don't think it's possible we can able to get ourselves the 3-star ranking, but I'll take 2-star ranking any day. So either way, so yeah, we're not doing too bad, all things considered, when it comes to Gloomy Manor itself. So either way though, but of course, we are technically not done every single aspect when it comes to Gloomy Manor just yet, because remember what I said before about the fact that there's actually the extra mission you can able to unlock, but here's the catch though, we do need to able to capture every single boost on one of those mansions, specifically though, that we somehow captured about 5 boosts in Gloomy Manor. So naturally speaking, we can now able to actually access to the extra mission, which usually, relatively speaking, when it comes to the extra missions, at least specifically for every single mansions, as far as I'm concerned, well, obviously, though, is about the fact that it actually brings us into an enemy rush, specifically. So, either way, so, naturally, we've got 160 money so far, so it's not by much, But either way, there's our new mission has been unlocked in Gloomy Manor, and that's what happens if you do manage to capture every single boost in Gloomy Manor. So either way, so naturally we've actually got ourselves the second Dark Moon piece, technically speaking. So naturally though, we can now able to move on to the next mansion. So naturally speaking though, I'm pretty sure we've only got about 4 pieces left, because technically we've already got the first piece, thanks to the forms of EGAD did somehow obtain it off screen. And naturally speaking, I was about the fact that, well, he did brings us the first Dark Moon piece, and now we've actually got the second Dark Moon piece after dealing with the first main boss in the game so far. So, yeah, pretty swell, I should say, especially concerning for the fact that, and of course, every single time if we do manage to obtain the next piece of the Dark Moon, obviously though is about the fact that we need to take care of this little corruptive energy. So because of that though, because otherwise without it, it'll just become haywire, and as a result we don't let that happen with all this corruptive energy. So anyways though, there's also another thing I want to point out as well, I guess. It's about the fact that I was originally though trying to able to show you guys the forms of skyscraper mode. Every time whenever we do manage to finish up every single aspect in one of those mansions in particular. Well, let's just say for this point, guys, is that I think we'll go to save that particular mode if we manage to finish up the main story first, specifically Dark Moon Quest mode. So because of that, though, I'm afraid to tell you is about the fact that the Skyscraper mode showcase will be get out of the way for a long while. Especially, like I said before, it's about the fact that this game will be much longer than the forms of how it does on the first game for sure. And now we can go into the next mansion, which, as far as I'm aware, the actual culture for the next mansion we're about to be jumping into, it could be something more related to nature, which, as a result, it could be like, trees and also certain, things, I suppose. So, I suppose we'll get to save that particular topic about the next mansion once we get to next Monday, presumably speaking, especially concerning for the fact that, well, like I said before, it's about the fact I can't even believe we're getting very close towards the end of August before we move on to the next month, which is September. So, either way, okay, so this particular mansion is called Haunted Towers, so I guess that makes sense to able to realize about the fact that that particular mansion's theme is all about nature, with all its trees and everything, also with certain plants as well. So basically though, as you can see, we somehow unlocked the extra mission right here, which appears to be Grangenal Infiltration. So this means about the fact that we need to capture the remaining ghosts in this particular mission. So because of that though, and also we have to search everywhere for certain rooms, well, thankfully though, if you do manage to check out the map or something like that, if you manage to able to see the estimation mark, basically what this means though is about the fact that that's what the ghosts are located in certain rooms. So either way though, let's talk about the forms of how the fact that, well, fundamentally speaking though, is about the fact that there was actually that particular moment where I did somehow found out about the fact that there was this cool trailer to show up from the likes of Sonic Cross Shadow Generations recently. Although I was originally trying to able to discuss upon it, but let's just say as soon as when Tiana will go back onto playing Sonic Colors for the DS version, most likely, that she will mention about a lot of Sonic content, specifically when it comes to the forms of the most recent trailer for Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, basically. So yeah, we'll got to let Tiana mention more about that during that time.
Oh boy.
So now, about the fact that we need to pay attention to the top right corner of the screen right there, and basically though, yeah, again, if you see that estimation mark on the map, that's where certain ghosts are located. So because of that though, we need to take care of the forms of those slammers right here, and relatively speaking, I was about the fact that, well, for the most part, those missions are optional, but if you really want to get out of your way to able to go for 400% completion, well, best advice is about the fact that you can able to actually tackle for these missions at any point. Although, mind you about the fact that, like I said before, you do need to capture every single boost first until you're able to actually unlock these missions like this. So, but either way, and relatively speaking, I was about the fact that when it comes to other topics, I would like to mention about something. And that's what it appears to be about the fact that, well, remember what I would say about the fact that remember how Ray the Flying Squirrel did somehow mention about this? Since in Journey Forms of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Remake Switch game for the entire Let's Play so far, well, obviously that was about the fact that there was this cool collector's edition being the likes of the limited run games. Well, suffice to say though, it's about the fact that, like you've already said this before, that the pre-orders will be available from 19th of August all the way up to the 6th of October in 2024. However, it's due to be shipped until next year in 2025, specifically July 2025. So we got to wait until for about, let's just say about 9 months, or specifically 11 months for now on though, if you really want to be desperately trying to get yourselves this very cool collector's edition when it comes to the forms of certain goodies you get for the likes of, you know, Sonic X Shadow Generations. So either way, also I'd like to point things out as well, is that did you guys know about the fact that when it comes to able to actually mention something like horror related, well, did you guys know about the fact that one of those films in particular, called A Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously though, I've already heard about this before, especially concerning for the fact that one of those characters in particular was in the actual film, which appears to be Freddy Krueger. Well, apparently though, from what I found out, that particular film, A Nightmare in Elm Street, or on Elm Street, I should say. That particular film is going to be 40 this year, which as a result, because obviously though that film did originally came out in 1984, so it makes sense to actually try to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the film's release. Well, it wasn't until specifically next year in 2025, not only we can able to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Super Mario Bros. Franchise, but it's also about the fact that we can able to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future, which obviously though about the fact that there's going to be a lot of anniversary celebrations coming up, so yeah, that's actually pretty swell. So anyway, also I just want to classify for mentioning about this actually is about the fact that I'm a little bit annoyed during the forms of in the past few days ago, because as far as I'm aware, I was expecting to try to get myself a next bunch of playable characters in Mario Kart Tour from the likes of the forms of the previous tour I just went into, which appears to be the Vacation Tour. But apparently though, I'm probably not going to make my way to 200 unlockable characters in Mario Kart Tour, sadly, because as far as I'm aware, well, obviously though, I was expecting to try to actually unlock Green Bodo on the likes of in Mario Kart Tour, but guess what though, the stupid ranked cup system always screws me up, especially at one point, I was doing quite well for the likes of trying to aim for first or second place, but guess what? I've now bumped back to 3rd place, and I was like, I'm not happy about that. Especially concerning for the fact that, well, at this point in time, we're now onto the, one of those tours at the moment, which appears to be we're going back onto Madrid Drive, based off from Spain country course. And as far as I'm concerned, about the fact I really don't know if I can able to actually make my way to 200 playable characters, specifically, for the likes of that particular game, as far as I'm concerned. Well, it doesn't really matter too much to the grand scheme of things, because obviously though, we've already technically got Green Bodo as a playable character, all thanks to the forms of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Booster Course Pass. So it's not the end of the world, personally speaking, but it's just that I'm just pretty annoyed about the fact I keep on getting screwed over with this stupid ranked cup system, whereas as far as I'm concerned, it's all about RMG aspects, which as a result, I'm just seriously still not a big fan of that concept, but that's just me. So because of that though, well, fundamentally speaking, I was about the fact that it looks like I think fundamentally speaking though, we've only got about 3 reruns left for the likes of based off from 2023 tours, at least as far as I'm concerned. Now I have no idea what's going to be happening next after the 3 reruns of certain tours of Mario Kart Tour has already been up. Well, I suppose we'll find out more about it until whenever we get on to September sometime, especially concerning for the fact that at this point in time is about the fact that I'm still basically excited about not only to able to try to see some more gameplay footage of The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, thanks to the forms of PAX West, did somehow manage to mention about that game. In addition to that, they also did say that Super Mario Party Jamboree will be also going to be appeared during the forms within, PAX West in 2024. So, alongside with that, they also technically mentioned 2 other games as well that are also going to be appeared during the forms of the PAX West booth. And those are Nintendo World Championships NES Edition, and there's also Star Wars Hunters as well. At least if I'm assuming so anyway. So because of that though, yeah, that's as far as we can able to talk about this, I guess. So yeah, once you do manage to capture every single ghost in these types of missions like this, obviously though, the entire mission itself is completed. So either way, now I'm pretty sure about the fact that I can able to guarantee to get myself my glorious 3-star ranking on this mission. Well, mind you about the fact that we've almost gone a perfect run on the likes of the forms of Gloomy Manor as far as this mansion is concerned. Well, I suppose beggars can be choosers, I guess. But like I said before, I will try my best able to actually go back onto the first main boss again off screen, so just in case I can able to actually guarantee to get myself my glorious 3-star ranking, but well, not for the time being, because as far as I'm aware, we are done every single aspect in Gloomy Manor, so we can now move on to the next mansion, which appears to be, like I said before, Haunted Towers. So, but then again though, I was originally trying to able to actually just to tackle through Scare Scraper for the first mode, but like I said before, we'll save the Scare Scraper mode as soon as we've done every single aspect when it comes to Dark Moon Quest, basically. So, but yeah, nothing else I can really say about this, I guess. So, apart from those side things though, I'm pretty sure we've only got about 1 week left until PAX West is going to be on its way for 2024 specifically. So yeah, I just seriously cannot wait to see the entire gameplay footage of Super Mario Party Jamboree, in addition to about the fact I have no idea what the actual playable demo will feature on that game. My guess, it's probably one of those mini-game modes, I'm pretty sure, much like the forms of how it does it in not only Mario Party Star Rush, but as well as the forms of Super Mario Party as well. So yeah, that's as far as I was expecting. So either way, still I'm excited about that, you know, especially concerning for the fact I'm a huge Mario Party enthusiast. So anyways though, would you look at that, we've almost got every single 3-star ranking medal, so yeah, that's actually pretty tight. So yeah, everything else checks out there, you know. Okay, quick error right there, because I forgot to charge up my laptop, but either way. So suffice to say for this point, guys, is that we're getting stuff at this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Luigi's Mansion 2, aka Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, is that we're about to be exploring into the next mansion, which is the Haunted Towers. So I'll see you guys until on Monday. Later, fellas.